I think that's absolutely on target. The identity piece of this is going to be key as we go forward. As we put enterprise email into place, we created identity synchronization service, which is basically identifies all 4.5 million users and their personas that DMDC has within their database. So we have the entire DoD workforce identified from an identity perspective, and we tie that in with their PKI, EDI, PI. So we know exactly who the individuals are, which is a key piece in getting that initial access to capabilities. So that identity and access management, the attribute-based access control that Frank mentioned, are key elements to do that. But in addition to that, you know, one of the key things, though, is moving the security boundaries to the cloud and providing a standard common approach to providing that front-end security that every application and user has to come through is a central part of how we need to do business going forward. Today it's inconsistently applied across the enterprise, and as we move more and more to the cloud and as JIE takes hold and we bring the single security architecture in place and the regional security solutions, et cetera, those become key components to providing that infrastructure and that boundary protection that needs to be there to protect the assets that we have. And I agree totally with Frank in terms of focusing on the data. Data and security of the data is central. We're now looking at data from two perspectives, really. What's the public-facing side of security, as well as those sets of data that we really don't believe should be out in the public arena because of security reasons or PII type of data, things like that. So we're starting to sort of categorize data in terms of what its use, and then how do you associate security with those use patterns so that we apply the appropriate amount of security for the right type of data. And by doing that, it sort of drives us to, we go to commercial cloud offerings, or do we do private cloud offerings, that sort of stuff. It just triggered a thought. We also have to raise the bar in terms of what's acceptable from an IA perspective at the application level. We have this thing in the department called Plan of Objectives and Milestones relative to IA posture. And so we have too many applications and providers who are systematically using POAMs, as they're referred to, as a viable way to reduce risk. Well, POAMs are a piece of paper. They're not a physical act to change the IA infrastructure. So one of the things we're doing, and we've implemented that within our own internal network in the agency, is we're going to zero POAMs. So just by doing that alone, you either fix the problem or you take the system off the network. And we have to almost get to that level of visibility and focus if we're really going to make a meaningful impact as we do all these other things.
Yeah, very good.